One of the biggest fears people have about AI is losing themselves, their voice, their thinking, their humanity. But that only happens when we stop being present. There's a difference between thinking with AI and handing your thinking over to it. One is partnership. The other is avoidance. When you think with AI, you stay involved. You question. You reflect. This is thinking with AI, a space to slow down and understand how technology is changing how we think, how we work, and how we live. Let's talk. AI doesn't replace your thinking. It responds to it. The quality of your questions matters. Your intention matters. Your awareness matters. AI amplifies what you bring into the conversation. I stopped asking AI to decide for me and started asking it to help me understand. I used it to slow my thinking, to see patterns, to unpack emotions, to reflect honestly. AI didn't give me direction. It helped me hear myself. You don't lose yourself by using AI. You lose yourself when you stop paying attention. When you rush, when you outsource awareness, when you stop reflecting. Presence keeps you human. You don't need to be technical. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to stay conscious, to stay curious, to stay connected to yourself. This series is not about using AI better. It's about thinking better. AI is just a companion in that process. And now, let's talk about asking better questions, because clarity begins with how you ask. This is thinking with AI. Most of us aren't confused because we lack answers. We're confused because we're asking the wrong questions, or we're not asking any at all. We rush straight to solutions without understanding the problem. The quality of your thinking is shaped by the quality of your questions. Questions decide where your attention goes. What you notice, what you ignore, and what you believe is possible. If you only ask survival questions, you'll only get survival answers. Most of us were taught to ask questions like, how do I get through this? How do I make this work? How do I avoid failing? These questions keep you alive, but they don't help you understand yourself. Clarity begins when the questions change. When you start asking, what am I actually feeling? What am I afraid of right now? What am I trying to protect? What do I need to understand before I decide? This is where AI becomes useful. Not as an answer machine, but as a thinking partner, a space to ask better questions, to slow your thoughts down, to see patterns you might miss. AI doesn't give meaning. You bring the meaning. When you ask better questions, you make calmer decisions. You stop reacting and start choosing. You move from survival to understanding. You don't need better answers right now. You need better questions and the courage to sit with them. Most decisions don't feel hard because they're complex. They feel hard because we're afraid of choosing wrong, afraid of disappointing someone, afraid of regret. So we delay or we rush, and neither brings clarity. Reaction feels urgent. It's driven by pressure, by fear, by the need to escape discomfort. Intentional decisions feel different. They feel quieter, more grounded, more aligned. Clarity always comes before confidence, but we often try to reverse that. We wait to feel confident before we understand ourselves. But confidence grows from understanding, from knowing why you're choosing, not just what you're choosing. I stopped asking, what's the fastest solution? And started asking, what choice supports the person I'm becoming? What aligns with my values? What brings me peace, not just relief? That changed everything. This is where AI can support clarity, not by deciding for you, but by helping you slow down, to explore options without pressure, to examine your thoughts honestly. AI doesn't replace judgment. It supports reflection. Trust doesn't come from certainty. It comes from self-understanding. When you understand yourself, you stop second-guessing everything and start standing by your choices. If you've been stuck in indecision, pause. Seek clarity and choose from understanding, not fear. Most people don't struggle because they lack ability. They struggle because they no longer trust themselves. They second-guess every thought, every feeling, every decision. And over time, that erodes confidence. We lose trust in ourselves slowly, through small moments, when we ignore our instincts, when we override our feelings, when we choose what's expected over what's true, and eventually, we stop listening. People tell you to be more confident, as if confidence is something you can force. But confidence without trust is fragile. It collapses under pressure. Self-trust is different. It's quieter, but steadier. I didn't rebuild trust overnight. I started with small truths. I stopped dismissing how I felt. I paid attention to what drained me and what restored me. I let my inner voice speak again. AI didn't tell me what to trust. It helped me notice patterns. Patterns in my thinking. Patterns in my reactions. Patterns in what I avoided. That awareness rebuilt trust. Self-trust grows through consistency, through keeping small promises to yourself, through honoring your boundaries, through listening when something feels off. Trust returns when you stop abandoning yourself. If you've lost trust in yourself, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you've been surviving. And now you're ready to listen again. Clarity doesn't arrive all at once. It returns slowly. In moments. In understanding. In honesty. And in learning to listen again. If you've been here from the beginning, you've already done something important. You slowed down. You reflected. You asked yourself different questions. That's not small. This journey was never about fixing yourself. You were never broken. It was about remembering who you are and how you want to move through life. Integration means carrying this awareness forward into your decisions, into your relationships, into how you work and how you think. AI doesn't replace this work. It supports it as a space to reflect, to ask questions, to understand patterns. But the thinking is still yours. There is no rush, no finish line, no perfect version of you to reach. Just a way of living more consciously, one decision at a time, one question at a time. If this series resonated with you, take what you need, leave what you don't, and move forward with intention. This space will continue as a place to think, to learn, to create, and to evolve. If this series has helped you slow down, if something in it made you feel seen or understood, the next step doesn't have to be big. The Thinking with AI ebook is the quiet starting point behind this entire journey. It's not about doing more. It's about understanding yourself more clearly. The first step inside the book is simple: learning how to pause, reflect, and ask yourself better questions, without pressure, without urgency. If you'd like to continue at your own pace, you'll find the ebook linked in the description. This is Thinking with AI, where we learn, think, create, and evolve.